From beneath, between, and beyond, welcome to another broadcast originating from the Megatronic Radio. Today we'll be chipping away at false realities once again, and we've also some special guests too. You may have heard of the first one, Ron White. Get ready!
Unwind these times, these tales, remind to find peace inside with no ideas of demise. Where I can be at one within and choose a life of clarity one day at a time. My motor skills are functioning. I breathe the air and ride the seas. How many days are left like these? Tomorrow's never guaranteed. So I'll make today the best day of my life. Try to give love and cause nobody's strife. For this is the time I was given to live. And every moment is truly my gift. Yeah, freedom, freedom, freedom. I won't take for granted my freedom.
Alright guys, I want to take a second and get my Gurk on you. Just so you know I'm listening to the transceiver, I'm going to start frog dropping some names. So if it takes a while for you to hear yours, just cool it, Hep White Cat, because I'm your Raider fan and you're my Candy V. Now, it's time we talk to a Furky. Today I'll be dispelling some precepts. These precepts are part of an IANS called psychiatry. You're going to walk away better understanding yourself. If you don't know yet, psych drugs are useless unless you want them to work. Or maybe you believe in the person prescribing them to you and they'll tell you what it's supposed to do and then you're going to believe them. Which begs the question, why do you need them then? Perhaps you may find yourself lost, confused, hopeless, feeling desperate. Maybe someone decided to throw out that label called depression. Well hey, if that works for you, that's all that matters. But if after you sit on that couch listening to someone really what I meant to say is after you sit on that couch listening to someone who really has trouble continuing to care because you're just another night out on the town for them and another reference to a psychiatrist who will give them a kickback, and after you've taken those pills because someone told you they knew it all and you're still hopeless, it's time we get you set out straight. Remember one thing, you are special and you are all you need to understand yourself. No one else will know anything about you unless you decide to tell them. Some people are building IANSes, and that's all good, but they're lying to themselves about being more important than another person, about the ability to understand their reality, and that their reality is better than yours. So before we get way too deep, let's laugh. I teleported in Ron White, who was quite confused as to how he got here, but after I showed him my deep fryer and a stack of Twinkies, he's pretty good, especially after we smoked that peace pipe. Here's what he has to say about drugs.
I saw a commercial the other day, and I really don't understand the organization, and I really don't understand who they think they're ever going to help. And it was for a company called www.don'tshakeababy.com. Now, I'm not going to get up here and take a big pro-baby shaking stance, so you can go ahead and relax, Seattle. But I don't know who they're supposed to help, because if you're such an inbred meth head shithook that you would consider shaking a baby, the only thing that's going to help you is a beheading. No. Now, I know there's people in the audience tonight going, but Ron, what if the baby's asking for it? Don't shake a baby. What if I can't find my car keys and I've looked everywhere? I got a little trouble. Did you guys hear anything about that? I'll tell you what happened. I had 2 sold-out shows in Fort Pierce, Florida, and we were going to land in Vero Beach, Florida, and I have an airplane that you guys bought me. Thank you. It's nice. It is really cool. And we land in Vero Beach, and when we land, I look out the window, and there's 3 cops standing there, and which is no big deal to me because cops love me, and so do firemen. And a lot of times I'll get a police escort from the airport to the venue, and this wasn't one of those times. I got out of the plane and there was a cop there and he said, Mr. Wyatt, we've been told that there are drugs on this plane by an anonymous tip. And I said, there are absolutely no drugs on that plane. Now, I did have a little bit of weed in my bag, but I wasn't on the plane, so technically I'm not lying to this guy. And, he goes, well, do you mind if we search the aircraft? And I said, you absolutely cannot search this aircraft unless you have probable cause, because I still have civil liberties, you know what I mean? I do. And they said, okay, well, we just want the drug dog to walk by it a couple times. And I said, fine. And the drug dog walks by a couple times. And the guy goes, well, the dog gave us a signal that there are drugs on the plane. And I'm like, no, he didn't. That dog didn't do anything. I was staring straight at him. He didn't wink, blink, oof a paw. What's his signal, a blank stare? That's all he did. Because the dog says there's drugs on the plane. I'm like, well, I said there wasn't drugs on the plane. Who are you going to believe, me or the... Fuck, never mind, Now, I've got a show to go to. They spend an hour and a half going through this plane. An hour and a half, and I'm just sitting there going, oh, come on. And they get finished. Of course, there is no drugs on the plane, and I knew there wasn't. And I assume now they're going to let me go, and I'll go do my show. And I was like, well, that's fine, whatever. And then they go, well, now the dog needs to sniff that bag on your shoulder. And I was like, ruh-roh. They found 7/8 of a gram of marijuana in my bag. Now, when I have 7/8 of a gram of marijuana, I consider myself to be out of marijuana. That is no weed. And it's medical marijuana. It was prescribed to me by a doctor in California where I live. And I told the cop that, and he said, well, what did you tell a doctor to get a prescription for marijuana? And I said, well, the doctor said, do you have any symptoms that marijuana helps alleviate? And I said, well, I get bummed when I run out of weed. Marijuana cures that. They handcuffed me and put me in the back of a cop car and took me to jail. Now, I'm not whining about that. I broke the law. That's fine. But fuck, this is Florida. These cops drove by 3 meth labs and a dead hooker just to get there.
All right, so check this out. If you don't like people who use other drugs, you're a tool. When people let drugs use them, as in being told there's a cure for consciousness that is depressed, they're giving into the game of life and allowing the idea of self-esteem and confidence to exist. There's really no such thing. I know that's hard to get because for so long, your species has said it's true. But it all started with someone deciding they knew things better than other people. And while I, myself, may know how to intrinsically hack away at things, I'm still not smarter than you, just experienced in some things. And you're more experienced in some things that I'm not experienced in at all. That doesn't make you smarter. That just makes you different.